Last weekend, the BananaLaser guys got out to go see a scary movie.
Sheriff, he's over here.
God, look at that thing.
Look out!
Can we get out of here?
No, I'm enjoying this.
Well, I can't watch.
Scrawled in blood.
What's it say?
See you next Wednesday.
It's only a movie.
It's not funny.
You were scared, weren't you?
I wasn't that scared.
Yeah, you were scared. It's close to midnight. BananaLaser's about to fuck shit up.
What? The hell? Dude, what's happening? What the fuck, man? Oh. Holy shit! Dude, why do you look like that all of a sudden? What the? Who are all these other assholes, man? What the fuck? Dude, for the love of God, why are you guys starting to dance?
Ooh.
Hey, get the fuck out of here. Get away from me. Get the fuck, back off. What the fuck? Back off, assholes. Hey, stop.
Hey, wait, what's the matter? Come on, I'll take you home.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist. What's up, gang? Welcome to another potassium-filled episode of BananaLaser. My name is Matt, Wazell if you're nasty, and with me, as always, is the bilingual, bipolar, and bi-weekly Dave Z. What the fuck is up, Dave Z?
Hey, yo. What's going on, brother?
Not a lot, man. It's good to be back.
Fucking A, sure is. Sure
Yep.
is.
Back in the BananaLaser studios, and we're having a blast. You know, we went to the movies this weekend. I got a little scared. I'll admit it, but
Just a bit. That's
yeah,
okay.
It's okay. You know,
It happens.
you were there to protect me, so
That's what I do, brother. That's right.
Yep. So yeah, we got a review of The Conjuring coming up, and as promised, we have a Evil Dead Blu-ray to give away to a lucky guy or gal out there. And what we're going to do with this, guys, is later in the show, we're not going to tell you when, but later in the show, we're going to drop a word, a line. We're going to mention it, and then we're going to tell you what to do in the middle of the show. We don't want to do it right up top, and then you guys, you know, just fast forward to where it is and then go to win it. We want to make you work for it a little bit, you know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Listen to a couple of fucking assholes for the next hour. Right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, who knows? We still might do it in 5 minutes, but we're not doing it, you know, right this second, you know. So
Nope.
Sorry if you were trying to fast forward to win it. I'm sorry, but it is in here. So just keep listening to us idiots.
Right, that's it. Straight up. We're too smart for you guys. Come on.
Right.
Because I've done it myself before, so.
Oh, you cheater. Well, anyways, and we also got, you know, some fun ways to get in contact. We got the email, you know, bananalaser@gmail.com. You know, email us your intimate thoughts, your penthouse letters, you know, whatever. And we also got the new BananaLaser line set up for anybody who wants to, hopefully some non-weirdos will call in.
Yes, please.
Some actual listeners. Call us, leave us a voicemail. What you think? The number is 314-720-8842. That's
Very
the Banana
good.
Laser line. Yep. And then, oh, shit. Well, the fucking phone's ringing. This is like clockwork, dude. I don't
What the fuck?
fucking understand. It's like, I hope it's not like a ghost thing or anything like that.
I don't know what the fuck it is, but this better be good. If not, I don't know what to tell you.
Here, let me fucking get this. Hello, Banana Laser. What? The fuck? Oh shit! What the fuck? Okay, hanging up now. Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Fuck
What
this
the
shit, dude.
hell?
Fuck it. Unplug that fucking phone right now. I'm trying to be a team player. I know you're all about the phone. I know we're fucking promoting and we're new. We got everything out there. But this fucking phone...
It was
God
a bad idea.
damn it.
Yeah.
All right?
Holy
Okay. Damn, unplug that fucking
Okay.
thing.
All
For
right.
real,
Here,
please.
Let me
Could you
throw
do
it
that
away.
for me?
Yeah, here.
I don't ask for much. Really.
I'm tossing it across the room. There we go. Fucking get rid of that fucking thing. So let's go to something else.
Let's move on. Fuck this
I
shit.
did get an email today from a listener named Henry. Let me just. I haven't read this yet, so let me.
Oh, shit. This is a great surprise. Fuck.
Yeah,
Okay.
from Henry here. So let's just run down
Right.
this here.
Get on. That's good shit.
Let me get my glasses on, my reading glasses. All right, here we go. Wilma. Oh, Wilma. Okay,
Huh?
right off the bat, that's a little weird. Wilma, I've had to leave in a hurry because of a call from Dexter Stanley. I'm confused. He seems to have gotten himself in a great deal of trouble. I'm ashamed to tell you this, but ever since Dexter's wife died, he's had problems coping with certain young female grad students. What the fuck? He's been able to cover up several incidents, but this one looks very serious. It seems he got a young woman to accompany him to Anderson Hall under false pretenses and then attacked her. What the fuck? Who is... Okay. Who's Wilma? Who's Dexter?
What the fuck, right?
Okay. Well, it goes on. When Dex called me, he was barely coherent. He was gibbering with fear and crying, I think.
Poor baby.
Yeah, I tried to get him to tell me what had happened to the girl, but for the most part, he only kept repeating, "It's awful, Henry. It's awful." Okay.
Wow.
Wilma, could you come out here? I know it's asking a lot, but you're always so clear-headed about things, and you know how to be firm. I think Dex could use a firmer hand than mine right now. Ooh, yeah, Wilma, firm hand.
Wow.
5 fingers. Not to mention the girl herself. He said that she had curled up in a dark place and won't come out. That's spooky. I'm sorry to have to ask you to come over to Anderson Hall and help me out, but as you often say, what would I do without you?
What indeed, Henry? What indeed?
What indeed, Henry?
What
Wow.
the fuck?
Well, there you go, Henry. I mean, we don't have any.
Okay. Well, it wasn't as bad as a phone call.
No. But I guess because they don't have a chance to respond and keep yapping away. Cool. Well, thanks, Henry, for that for the email.
Fucking portrait of a serial killer. There he is.
Maybe that's who that was. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Henry Lee Lucas.
Yeah.
Yes, he's fucking back. Is he dead? I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, maybe he sent this from the grave. Fuck, who knows?
Nice. Henry and Wilma. What a couple for the ages.
Oh, boy. Well, yeah, so without any further ado, we're going to take a break, and we're going to be right back with the review of The Conjuring.
I was watching Poltergeist last month. I got a question. Why don't white people just leave the house when there's a ghost in the house? Y'all stay in the house too fucking long. Get the fuck out of the house. Very simple. It's a ghost in the house. Get the fuck out. And not only did they stay in the motherfucking house and Poltergeist, they invited more white people over. Sit around going, now daughter Carol Ann's on the television set. I would have been gone. If I had a daughter been down the precinct saying, look, man, I went home and my fucking daughter's in the TV set and shit, so I just fucking left. You can have all that shit. I ain't going back to the motherfucking. I just came down, so when she ain't at the school, you don't think I killed the bitch or nothing like that. But she is inside the TV set. You can have all that shit. Fuck it. Mr. Murphy, didn't you try to save your daughter? Yeah, I'm a man. And shit I tried to save. I turned the channel. The shit didn't work. I got the fuck out. Leave. The kid was only 6 years old in the movie. They couldn't have been too attached to her. Leave. In the Amityville Horror, the ghost told them to get out the house. White people stayed in there. Now that's a hit and a half for your ass. A ghost say get the fuck out, I would just tip the fuck out the door. They walked and looked in the toilet bowl, was blood in the toilet. They said, that's peculiar. I would have been in the house and said, oh baby, this is beautiful. We got a chandelier hanging up here, kids outside playing, it's a beautiful neighborhood. We ain't got nothing to worry. I really love them, this is really nice. Too bad we can't stay, baby.
All right, assholes, we are back, BananaLaser, and this time we got a review for a new movie. Mr. Z and I went to the theater and we saw The Conjuring.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, spooky. This movie is actually doing pretty well, and that, I'm glad because it took the weekend. It had the highest sales, Last time I looked, it was over, 40 million gross sales, which is great.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great for a movie like this that is actually, I'll say decent, do well, because lots of times those fucking teeny bopper PG-13 horror movies come in and they kill, but that's just because a bunch of little girls are going to see it, not like actual fans like you and me.
Exactly. Right.
Yep. So that's good.
Wasn't a remake, and it wasn't a sequel.
True, absolutely, yes. Yeah, that's crazy on itself,
right?
In this day and age, too.
For sure.
This movie is directed by James Wan, who most of you probably know. He did Insidious, he did Dead Silence, he did the first few Saw movies. So I think most people out there are a fan of his work. I'm a mild fan of the Saw series, but I loved Insidious with a passion. What do you think about him and his work, Dave?
I fucking love the original Saw. I'm actually a pretty big fan of the Saw series in general. I have it's it would take a lot of explanation. It's hit or miss for me, but it's more hit than miss, And when he followed it up with Dead Silence, that was good. It was, entertaining. Nothing fucking to write home about. But Insidious, yeah, that was impressive.
There's definitely some elements of Dead Silence in this new movie, The Conjuring, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, in all his movies. I mean, let's just get into it. I mean, I guess this is going to be a spoiler review. So if you guys haven't seen this, we'll our brains are so scattered, we'll probably give something away. So we should just say up front that this is going to be, have spoilers in it. But
yes,
it's so hard to make a movie, well, really any horror movie, and not to have cliches in it. It's almost an impossibility to do it at this point. And there's a lot of elements in this movie from his previous movies. Dead Silence was one, and Insidious and stuff like that, and also just tons of other movies too. Like there's a like the ball being tossed out. That's like from The Changeling, right? Have you seen that?
Yes, the ball and the piano for that matter.
Yeah,
I love The Changeling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I love The Changeling too. I'm not super big on haunted house movies, but there's a few of them that strike a chord with me. And The Changeling with that was George C. Scott, right? That movie. I love that movie. And there's a moment in The Conjuring where there's a little ball being thrown out, from the corner. It's supposed to scare you. But that's straight ripped from The Changeling. And then there's another moment where the TV is on, but it's all static. And
Yes.
as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, Poltergeist!"
Right.
You know,
Right.
And
I think that was a nod more than anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because he knows what he's doing. So,
of course.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, this movie had a lot of other elements that made it unique, and one of those elements was the clapping game. That's in the trailers. And now I've never even heard of this clapping game. I just played hide and go seek when I was young, but and now some people say that the trailer kind of ruined those moments
Just
for
that one.
you. And yeah, so would you say that kind of killed it for you, the
Just
clapping
that
game
one.
part?
Agreed. And the thing is, I watched the trailer. I was watching. I don't watch a lot of commercials. I DVR almost everything I watch, and occasionally I watch something and I see, and if it's a horror movie that's coming out, a lot of times I can't help it, especially when it's the first one. I'm like, oh, look at this, okay, and then I'll watch it, and then I remember the first time I saw that with the clap, and then I look over at my wife and I go, they should have left that out because now we know that's can happen. That's a good jump scare. It's a good scare, and I wish they wouldn't do that in the trailer.
It was good. But to me, being okay, I think that was like the first like teaser trailer, and that's all it was. It was like the mom and the child in the house. It had no other characters in it, and it was just that. It kind of played through, and I think that really sucked me in, because if I saw the first trailer and it was like somebody floating and a door slamming and just quick stuff like that, I would have chalked this up to all of the other fucking haunted house movies, or like The Possession, as a fucking teeny bopper horror movie. But since I saw that first trailer and had the clap game, I was like, okay, this movie is actually smart. And so it sucked me in. And it didn't have the same effect, but I was excited to see the scene in the context of the movie.
That's true. I was curious about what it meant with the clap.
Yeah, it means you got to go to the doctor. That's what that means.
Dumb bitch gave him the clap.
It burns when I pee, and I hear clapping sounds. But I mean, this there's a lot of other cool elements too, like the opening.
Yeah, Annabelle.
Yeah, the whole Annabelle doll. If you guys don't know, this movie is about essentially Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are uber famous for the whole Amityville deal. That's based on a true story that they investigated, and this is supposedly, it is. It's based on a true story. Another case that took place before that. And even before this movie, the bumper of the movie at the beginning is another one of their cases, and it involves a doll, and how this doll, may or may not be possessed, and is moving, and is writing stuff on walls and stuff like that. And that's where, he steals. I don't want to say steals, but he pays homage to the Poltergeist, with that. And
With what you're talking about
the doll,
the doll?
Yeah, you don't think so?
I don't know.
There's the whole doll part in the fucking Poltergeist.
The fucking clown you're talking about? Yeah, I understand, but this didn't do... The Poltergeist thing, it was just a one-time thing. The kid feared the doll for half the movie, and he was all scared of that doll, and then it came to life. But the thing with Annabelle, it was just centered around that particular story with the two girls and the guy in the apartment. Their particular case was just about Annabelle.
I'm just saying it was a nod. You know what I mean? It was a doll in a fucking haunted house movie, and that's all. You know what I mean? I know the cases are totally different and dissimilar, but just because to me, I'm not a huge Poltergeist fan, but the doll scene is, from watching as a kid, is the thing I remember the most of being scared of. And so that's what I took away from it. And but also, James Wan made whatever before Insidious was that Dead Silence movie, all about a killer doll, which I didn't care for, just because it got more silly and stuff at that point. I think I don't know. I hear lots of people like Dead Silence, so maybe if I go back and watch it, I'll like it.
I like some of it, because the doll thing kind of creeps me out a little bit. So I do that aspect alone. It would be hard if you can make a decent movie involving dolls like that. It would really have to suck for me to not be interested in it. And it didn't suck at all. The reveal at the end is kind of what I don't know. It could have been better. That's all. But
was there a reveal at the end? I don't.
Oh yeah, there was.
Okay, well let's talk about this. Okay, the music box, I thought was a cool element. You know, I hate to jump to the end, but you brought it up. The fucking the reveal at the end. I didn't see any. Was I supposed to see something? Because the last shot is like looking in the music box in the mirror.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're talking about a reveal in this movie?
Yeah, isn't that what you were just saying?
I was talking about Dead Silence. You were talking about Dead Silence, and you said something about it. I said it was good, yada yada, about fucking, the dolls were kind of scary and everything.
Okay.
But Never it was mind. The reveal that made it a little, it tarnished it a little bit for me. Dead Silence. That's why you said that.
Okay.
But do you remember the reveal in Dead Silence?
I do, and I thought it was so stupid.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Right.
Okay, we'll cut all this out.
So there you go. Fucking, he's pointing fingers at me since you brought it up.
You're like, what are we talking about? That's awesome. So, anyways, so this movie, The Conjuring, it's about this family. What is his name? The Perrins, something like that.
Yeah, the Perrins.
Yeah, Perrins. They move into a house, and right away shit starts going fucking wacky. And I've watched this movie twice now. I went Thursday night, and I went today. And I have to say that this movie is kind of divided into two halves. It's got the first half when it's just the family, and they're slowly experiencing more and more paranormal shit. And then the second half of the movie is when the Warrens actually come in, and they start doing some investigating. But I have to say, after watching this twice, the first half, I think, is the better half. Just the family. Nobody's freaked out yet, and that's when all the instances happen with the girl getting pulled on the bed, the girl seeing a demon or somebody standing behind the door, and the door slams and stuff like that.
That was cool.
Yeah. What are your overall thoughts about the tone of the movie and how it starts out one way and it kind of goes another way once the Warrens come into the house?
Well, I think it's cool. What I do like about the first half is how they're going back and forth between the Warrens and then the Perrin family. So you have two things that they're going back and forth with, which is kind of cool. It's unusual. It's not what you usually see in a movie such as this, Ghost Story or Haunted House or whatever you want to call it. But I like the way it starts. Didn't you love the credit? But when it first came, didn't it remind you of
absolutely? Yeah. So they're they're
music. It was like The Omen or something.
Okay.
It was fucking straight from the 70s.
Now let's talk about that. The music in this, I thought,
Very
worked
good.
so well. It worked so good, and they didn't overuse it. That's my fear on a lot of these movies is that they overuse the music, and then it doesn't work anymore. But in this movie and in his last movie, Insidious, which I think it's got the same composer on. I'm not for sure. I didn't really research it, but
I don't know.
The music in both the movies works so well. The music in Insidious is what gripped me more than anything in the movie, really, and I think it worked just as well in this one. Yeah, whenever the Warrens, say who they are at a class or whatever, and then all of a sudden a scroll comes up saying, "Hey, these are the Warrens. This is what they do." Ed is a demonologist, which I was like, "What? Is that a real thing?"
Right.
And
apparently,
yeah, and he's recognized by the Catholic Church as a demonologist.
He's the only one too. He's the only one that isn't a Catholic priest.
And these are real people. I was like, I don't fucking get that at all. But I mean, I guess if you believe in Catholicism, you have to believe in demons too. I mean, it's there. It's in the book, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Correct.
But that blew me away. And it says, Lorraine Warren is a clairvoyant. And I loved. See, this makes me want to investigate the Warrens more, because I love their whole dynamic of, of like, how did these two people come together? The clairvoyant and then this guy who's a demonologist. Like, how they meet, how they come together, because it seems like a match made in heaven.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, right.
to use a religious thing. I mean, it's just crazy that they became a couple. But you're right. It says that, and then the title comes up, just The Conjuring. It looks all badass, and it just keeps scrolling until it's off the screen. Well, lots of times they fucking scroll and then it pauses in the middle, but nope, it just keeps scrolling up, and then they use that as like a fade in into the setting of the house where the parents are moving in. And yeah, that was brilliant, and kudos to whoever did the score, because it made that shit fucking just pop, super pop.
Yeah, very effective.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was very 70s. It kind of reminded me of The Omen and, things like that from the 70s, And Insidious did it too in a little way. This Insidious was more Exorcist type of a score, I thought, with the violins and those noises.
They had the more the high-pitched sound with the violins, and the strings.
But also very good, But I like the vibe. Even though I like The Exorcist more than I like The Omen in movies like that, I like the 70s vibe that this movie put out.
Yeah.
And of course it takes place in the 70s, so it should. Mm-hmm. But it was cool to see. It was refreshing to see them come in and they were playing. Now, the soundtrack wasn't overdone. They only played about 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah.
Outside of the score.
That was smart to do that. Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
It wasn't overkill.
Nope.
Nope.
But
it was good.
A lot of times these movies, where there's ghosts or whatever, they rely on heavy sound cues and music and stuff,
right,
to do all the work, but this movie relied nothing on that. The camera work and stuff like that is so well done. It is. And really, there's not a lot that separates this movie from those fucking shitty teeny bopper movies, except for the fact that you got James Wan making it, and he knows how to make the shit work. You know what I mean? He knows how to use the camera to actually build suspense, which is what these movies are all about. If you can't build suspense, the scares are fucking bullshit. That right. It's all about suspense. That's the only thing that will walk you through the movie, and he does a fucking brilliant job.
No, he's great. And here's one thing I disagree on. For me, the movie got better as it went along.
Yeah.
Not that I don't respect the setting up of the story, right, and the back and forth between the families and everything. And the funny thing is, at first, because I saw it twice as well, in the first view, I'm watching it, and when the Warrens come in the house, and they got a bunch of people in the house, they got the Warrens, and they got the parents, and they got the cop, and they got the assistant to the Warrens. And they have all these people in the house, and and when they first brought them all in, and they have cameras and everything else, and it was almost like they did in Insidious, but
right, yeah.
I was
afraid.
Scale.
I was afraid
yes.
It was going that way. I was like, oh, please don't do it. But yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be scary anymore. I thought, right, they got all these people here. It's really not going to resonate with me. But I was wrong. For like 10 minutes, I was a little unsure. But there's like 4 really good sequences in this movie, and 3 of them come in the second half.
Yes, and the scariest part to me was in the second half. And let me see if you agree. It's the part where the cop is standing. He gets some coffee, he's standing there at the window. He's looking out the window. He hears a voice saying, "Look what you made me do," or "Look what
she made me do."
Is that what it said? Look what she made me do. And he's like, what? So he starts investigating. Then all of a sudden he sees like a nurse standing at the end of the hall, and she says, "Look what she made me do." She shows her wrists, they're cut. And he's like, "What the hell?" He goes down there and investigates. She walks off. He follows her, and he loses her. He doesn't find her. Then he starts walking back toward camera, and then boom, she comes back. And it's like, holy shit, that was the best scare in the movie, in my opinion. And it made me think of, you already mentioned the series, but it made me think of The Exorcist 3. Do you know what part I'm talking about?
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, where the nurse is walking.
The fucking nurse. Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, it's like you think something's going to happen, then it kind of like, okay, well, nothing's going to happen now. Then boom, all of a sudden it fucking happens.
Right.
That scare works so well, I think.
Yeah, I liked it, but it wasn't to me, the best scare was the situation with the when the girl was sleepwalking the second time.
Yeah, okay.
She went up to the curio cabinet thing, whatever it's called. And first the mother was on her own trip because the father went away to Florida for the week. And then the clap started and she comes out, the pictures fall down. And that whole sequence was great. The piano and the cellar door closes on her, she falls down, and the ball comes out, the light blows up. That was all the shit that happened to her. Mm-hmm. And it was great. A couple of it was cliche, the light blowing up and the ball coming. But whatever. I still thought it was really good, but then after that, with the girls in the bedroom, when the girl's sleepwalking into the thing, and the girl sits her down, lays the other girl in the bed, you could sleep here. Then she sits up, the other girl, and the curio cabinet is still going boom, boom, like the girl's still going into it.
Yeah, and then it pans up.
Then it pans up, and the girl gets up to it, and the girl sits up slowly in the bed and sees that it's going on, and then the fucking witch or whatever jumps off the top. It really took me by surprise. The first time, I jumped, and that does not happen to me much. And the second time, I really paid attention. I was waiting for her just to see what she looked like. And to me, that really got me good.
Yeah, that was probably the second best scare in my opinion. And since you brought up the witch, who I guess is the villain of the movie, her look was fucking great. I wouldn't have changed a single thing about it, which I normally don't even really think about that in these kinds of movies. I guess like what's the movie I'm trying to think of that would be similar to this? What is it? The Woman in Black or The Lady in Black? What was that movie?
Okay.
Was it Lady or Woman? I forget.
There's actually two different ones. Well, there's one that one of them is in white and one of them is black.
No. The one with Daniel Radcliff. Yeah.
Oh, the new one. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's a remake.
And like the look of, I forget a lot about that fucking movie, but the look of the ghost in that movie, I feel like I would have changed a lot, But this one with the witch and her look, I thought was perfect. And you get a great shot of that whenever she wakes the mom up. The mom's taking a nap. She wakes her up, and all of a sudden she's right over her fucking face, and you see like just half of her face, and she's freaking out, and then she throws up in her mouth. Holy shit, that was fucking intense. You could see every like pimple, every wrinkle or whatever on the fucking witch's face. I thought that was perfect.
It was cool. She reminded me of Reagan, actually, if anything, more than a witch.
Oh, the possessed Reagan, you mean?
Yeah, she reminded me more of that. Because I'll tell you, when I first saw her, when she first jumped off the top of that cabinet, I thought it may have been one of the other girls, like the oldest girl.
Oh, really?
When it first happened, it just looked like a chick with long hair. And, then upon my second view today, I go, okay, that's her. I just wanted to make sure because I was confused the first time. But she reminds me more of Reagan. But, it wasn't like a knockoff or anything. I'm not saying that it was a bad thing, but she didn't look like a typical witch or anything like that, or a typical ghost. And
no, not at all. Yeah, the look was perfect. Yeah.
You didn't see the original. That was a remake of the one you were speaking of. With,
the Woman in Black? Really?
Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah, the other one. The other one's... Oh, yeah. The other one, it was a made-for-TV movie, but it was, a lot of people swear by it. And
really?
I like it. I don't like it as much as I like Changeling and Ghost Story, but some people just think it's freaking tremendous.
Can you rent it? Is it on DVD or something?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
And it's called Woman in Black.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive about that.
And it's the same story and like the fucking...
I didn't see the one with...
okay, gotcha.
But I'm going to have to see what you said about the Woman in Black and the Lady in Black, and there's another one called The Woman in White or something. This one's called The Woman in Black. That's the remake, right?
Yeah, Woman in Black, Daniel Radcliffe, yeah. Came out like a year or two ago, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Well, the original Woman in Black, I don't know. I don't want to say for certain because I also get a little bit confused.
Yeah.
But there was another Woman in Black that was earlier, and I think it was a made-for-TV movie.
Did it?
And, but that could have been the leading way. And I'm sorry, I'm going off the topic.
Was it starring Oprah Winfrey? That's a race joke. Okay, so I was talking about music earlier. The fucking the piano that's in the cellar that they find was also used in the score a little bit, which I thought was pretty brilliant. But one little thing that I didn't get until the second viewing was that the first time they go down in the cellar, it's the husband and wife, and the wife just hits 3 keys on the piano, just kind of randomly. And then later, when she's by herself and she goes into the cellar, no. She doesn't go into the cellar. The same 3 keys are played on the piano while she's upstairs, and that gets her, that spooks her and primes her to go downstairs. I thought that was really smart. I didn't catch that the first time.
Wait a minute. The same 3 keys.
She hits she hits 3 notes, and it doesn't really seem like they go together or anything. And she just kind of randomly does it. And then later when she's alone and the door to the cellar blows open, and then she hears the piano. It's those same keys again that she hit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't catch it until the second
Very
time.
good.
But yeah, I was like, holy, it's the little shit like that that you don't think about, but it registers in your brain because it's music, and music can, latches onto your brain a lot more.
Right.
And that's, I think that really worked.
Wow. Didn't it happen again with the piano when Lorraine Warren was down there and she came up? When they were there with the remember they went down there, they were waiting for something to happen, and Lorraine was catching a vibe, and they were in that cellar, and they had the mics and they had the headphones.
They were filming it. Yeah, they were.
Yes,
filming
and they
it
went
on
upstairs
camera.
and right, and didn't at the very end the piano play?
I don't know. The only thing that happened was that they walked down there, then they come back up. This is one of those boring parts that doesn't really do anything. They walk down there, nothing happens. They're filming. Then they go upstairs, then the door slams shut. I think that's all that happened.
The door did slam shut because it was the same thing that happened to Carolyn, the mother, earlier when she got knocked down the stairs and everything took off from there.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought the piano played.
Maybe it did, but you know what? I mean, we're not computers. We can't retain everything.
Right. Well, I'm curious. Imagine it would have been cool if it was the same 3 notes each time.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
And once again, 3 notes. Remember what he said about freaking? They had to they had to lock the door shut because they kept having freaking. It kept coming in 3s all night long, and the guy said, "Well, you know why? They're mocking the freaking Holy Trinity."
Yeah. Now, you're right. Let's talk about that. Now, the villain, the witch, she was a Satanist, or she was a practicing Satanist, and she lived in the house. And she murdered her child at like 7 months old or something like that. And
no, not exactly. That's not. No, what it was there was a man and a woman. There was a husband and wife, and they built the house. And the wife had a sister who was down with the witches of Salem. She was one of them. And when all the shit went down, they were being purged and excommunicated. She took off and came and lived with them. And they had a 7-day-old, I believe it was, I don't know if they said a niece or a nephew, but they caught her sister, who was a witch, trying to sacrifice it.
Okay.
Caught her for it, and then she went up to the friggin' tree and declared some type of shit and yada 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 and fucking hung herself.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
That was one of the things I paid attention to upon the second view.
Okay, well here's what I was going to ask was that. It's something I'm confused about. Later on, Lorraine has a revelation of some kind, and she says that the mother was possessed, and she killed her child because she was possessed. is that like a different family that lived in the
Yes.
house later? Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Correct. See, this is what happened to me when I watched it the first time. I was confused like you were. Today, I got it different. That's what I paid attention to today. I was like, okay, there was a couple scenes where I knew they explained it, and I want to see. The second people, there was that little boy, Rory. Rory was the little boy.
Yeah.
Okay? Rory was the son of the heavyset woman that also lived in the house. She moved in there after all that shit went down.
And she was possessed, and she
got possessed
Rory.
by the witch.
Okay, that
yes,
makes more sense.
and they said that Rory went missing. We find out later when Lorraine goes in the basement and actually witnesses what happened, that she had scissors or a knife or whatever, and that she killed Rory.
Yeah, and
that was a little too. See, when I'm watching it at first, like the first half, it seemed cliche to me, and there was one more. There was two. The 3:07 thing with the clock was too much like the 3:15 with Amityville. Granted, the same thing didn't happen.
Yeah.
In Amityville, the guy just kept waking up at 3:15, or the woman, and they didn't know why, and that's when the murders took place. And the 3:07 thing was this, and I was like, well, that's a little too Amityville-ish. And then the other thing, the little girl is talking to Rory, and he's telling something bad happened to him, but it's her friend, and they're okay. The same thing was going on with Amityville, but it was a little girl talking to Jody, which was a child that got whacked in the house before. So those two things seemed a little too familiar. Granted, it didn't make a difference in the second half of the film because everything it stopped being cliche in the second half for me, and
right.
it took a life of its own.
Well, it became a fucking an Exorcist movie. I did not expect that.
I
in this
agree.
movie,
right.
and I think that's why maybe I'm kind of segregating the two halves of the movie and saying I like the first part better because eventually what happens is that we find out the mother's been getting bruises on herself and she can't figure out why. Well, it's because the witch is trying to possess her body to kill her family and stuff like that. And so that's what they do at the end is perform an exorcism. And ultimately, it worked. He did it really well. But
yeah.
I just was not expecting it to go that way at all.
And neither was I. No, that was definitely something different.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it was cool because it was short. It was like a 15-minute thing.
Yeah.
And it was different because they covered her up. So you couldn't see everything. It wasn't the same old shit that everyone's done since The Exorcist, where they tried to, you see, and I'm not knocking those movies because I like them too, but there's been other movies like Emily Rose and The Devil Inside and The Possession, different ones, and they've tried to do it and they've, some of them have made them a little too much.
Yeah.
Like Reiki.
Yeah.
But I don't think they did that in this. Number one, you couldn't see her for most of it. They covered her up with a thing. And, she levitated at one point in the chair and was turned upside down. But it wasn't...
that part looked great. Yeah.
Yeah, it did look great.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't, it didn't remind me of, like, The Exorcist. Like, where every other movie where someone gets possessed does.
One thing that I think helped it was that Ed Warren, he's not a priest. And he wasn't even going to do it. Right. They were going to get a priest to do it, but a priest never showed up. And so maybe that's the element that makes it seem different. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Well, they got the okay to do it because that guy pushed it through. They went there and they said, well, the children haven't been baptized. And they said, and they're not members of the church, so I got to go to the Vatican, the priest said. And then they go, well, listen, take a look at the stuff we have on film. And he showed it to him, and the priest got convinced, and he goes, okay, we'll have the exorcism. And then they were at a hotel. And it was
right.
the mother and the 5 daughters. And holy fuck, by the way, 5 fucking daughters.
Feel sorry for those parents. Holy shit.
I feel sorry for the guy.
Yeah.
That fucking guy lives with 6 women. I'll tell you what, he should have been the one fucking hanging himself, not the witch. Holy fuck.
It's too bad that money scheme, the money scheme he was trying to pull on Office Space didn't work because then he could buy his way out of there. Yeah.
But wow, 5 daughters. Holy shit, that's out of control. But anyway, they were living in the hotel at that point. They came out of the house and whatever. And they got word that the woman took 2 of the children and went back to the house. So now, and they all chased her down at the end. It all happened so quickly.
Yeah, it happened
to
really
get down
fast,
there. Yeah, and all of a sudden they're like, okay, well, we got to
Well-
get her to the priest so we can have an exorcism. Let's take her to the church. Remember, they tried to take her out of the house, and the witch wasn't having it
Yeah,
because she
her-
was possessed. They started making it basically, if they try to take the woman out of the house, she's dead. So Ed Warren just was thrown into it, not because the priest didn't show up, because they had no one else that could do it. And he had witnessed so many exorcisms, he was like, well,
I'm
you know.
doing it. Yeah, I think that's what made the exorcism stuff work was because you're right. It happened so quickly, and it was just like, well, we're doing an exorcism now. You know, it wasn't like a planned thing where you see the fucking, Father Marin or whoever get out of the fucking, the taxi cab and fucking, and all that shit. So,
I mean, the shit he was saying was right out of the book for you honestly, if you're catching that movie, just in that sequence, the fact that you don't see a white collar, someone could have said, hey, that's a priest, and it would be believable because he was saying things.
Right.
He was using the Bible, and he was doing it the same way that we've seen other priests do it in exorcism movies.
Right.
So he knew his shit. He was doing his stuff. I mean,
the
holy water thing was really cool. Did you notice that the witch screamed and caused the glass to break and they lost the holy water?
Oh no, I didn't know
that was a new one. Yeah, he gave it to her once, sprayed her the holy water, she flipped out. I think she puked blood, but she was underneath the
oh yeah, that was rad. Yeah.
And then she screamed, and when she did it, the glass broke. That was, the veil or whatever the fuck, the vial, I should say, that was holding the holy water broke, and then that was the end of that. So
I didn't know.
I thought that was cool. Yeah, that was. I thought that was a
one part that I watched it with a packed house today, and obviously people react and stuff like that. It wasn't too bad, but one part where it enhanced the movie so much was where they're trying to do the exorcism. She has the bag, she's tied down. There's a bag over her head, and she starts to levitate on the chair. And Ed Warren, he immediately stops because he's shaken by. He's like, holy shit, what the fuck? And somebody in the audience goes, don't stop talking, just instantly like, what? Oh no, don't stop talking, instantly. And everybody just laughed, and I was like, it was like the perfect moment for somebody to say something funny and there to be like a release or something, because then everybody was like, yeah, what the hell is he doing? It was hilarious.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But it made sense. He was an amateur.
Yeah,
I mean, not an amateur.
absolutely.
He wasn't a priest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a demonologist. They.
Right.
Oh man, is there an application I can fill out? Holy shit! I want to be on your team, buddy. I don't
fucking demonologist. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm curious. I'm hitting Google up. I haven't. I thought about it.
Yeah, I'm going on, what is it, monster.com? Is that the job thing? Yeah, putting out, wanted, demonologist. I'm your guy. I have no, yeah, I have no work history in it, but, I'm willing to learn.
Demonologist by day.
Yeah, so, it's, a lot of this movie, like I was saying, it used a lot of elements like the music box, the doll, and the ball, and the clapping game and stuff like that. But then there's another thing that kind of centers around, and we talked about earlier with the witch jumping off of that dresser, and now was that already? It seemed like that was a pivotal thing for the movie. Was that already in the house, or did they bring that? And then it was like, that had to be in the house already.
What, the cabinet?
Right? Yeah.
No, that was in the house.
Okay,
they mentioned it
that
to the
makes
Warrens
more
when
sense
they came.
because eventually, later in the movie, they find out that there's a panel that moves, and there's a hole in the wall behind it, and that's where Rory used to hang out back there.
Yep.
And
that's it, hides.
Yeah, that makes sense. And there's his fucking music box is missing.
The whole thing.
And she also, I think Lorraine finds a fucking a noose back there.
Yeah, she does find a noose.
Yeah, that I guess that was from when the witch hung herself. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but I guess that's the best we got
I don't
because
know. Yeah.
no one else got hung that we know of.
Yeah, it just seemed kind of weird, and it was trying to call back to something. But I said the word noose, and I'm going to say it. That's our secret word.
Nice.
For our giveaway of the Evil Dead Blu-ray. And if you're listening to this right now, you need to go to our Facebook page, and not our Facebook group, which I recommend that you join also, but go to our Facebook page, make sure you like it, and then post on our page the word noose, a picture of a noose, somebody being hung, a picture of you, choking yourself with a noose while you masturbate, something like that, and you will win this Evil Dead Blu-ray that I have in my hands right now. So stop listening. What are you doing? Go to your computers and do that, and you win.
Or you can win what I have in my hands right now.
Oh my God, Dave! Oh Jesus!
No, I'm sorry. My wife's gonna get pissed off. I better not.
Wait, she doesn't listen to this shit, does she?
I fucking make her.
God! Oh brother!
I know. Poor girl. I got your neck in the noose. That's fucking great, man. Noose.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good shit.
So yeah, I mean, this movie did. I think it seems like we're giving this movie a lot of praise and stuff like that, and it warrants it. It's a good movie, but it like I said, it does so many cliches too that kind of bother me, and I don't know if I want to say I wish they wouldn't have done, but you mentioned the 307 thing, but also it has a whole thing with birds flying into the house.
How about the birds? Yes, right.
And yeah, that's an homage, and I'm pretty sure other movies have done it.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
You know what that means, though? See, that hold on now. If a bird flies to a window and dies at your house, that's like an old, an Indian, a Native American. It's one of those things. That means that death is coming.
Really? Okay. See, I've never heard that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that just makes it better for me. Right there, because at the end when they're doing the exorcism and like they're almost getting attacked by fucking birds, it's almost ridiculous. I was just kind of like, come on, they could have left this part out, I think.
Right, I thought that too, but I was okay. The weird thing is that they were like different birds, but the one bird that got killed in the beginning, the single bird that they found outside, it was the day after the dog died.
Yep.
Was the bird, and the one that came in later during the exorcism. They were both pigeons for some reason. Just those two. But the other ones were like blackbirds or whatever. They were just regular dark colored birds. But the birds that had the most impact were those two pigeons. I don't know why, but
I don't know. I was hoping it was those fucking birds from those Windex commercials because I can't fucking watch. They fucking annoy the shit out of me.
I forgot all about those fuckers, right?
This is the only work they can fucking get is running into fucking windows. Jesus, they're typecast.
Right.
Another thing that I got to talk about, and this is a good scene in the movie, but is when you're at the Warrens' house and they're not there. It's later in the movie, but it has her daughter, their daughter, wakes up in the middle of the night and she goes into the other room, and she noticed the door opens to their room full of it's like Friday the 13th, the TV series in there. It's got all these cursed objects and shit like that.
Fucking evil things. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And you see that the cabinet that the doll is in, and the doll's gone. And then so she goes in the other room, and the witch is in the fucking chair with her back towards the girl. Dude, this scare works so good because she's holding the doll, and then the head of it just slowly turns around. And, oh, man, that is so creepy, man. I think that worked perfect.
It was tremendous. I loved it. I loved that whole sequence with that little girl because she was flipping. And the cool thing is that it happened because she found the lockets at that thing, and she gave her mother the necklace with the locket, and she kept the other. Solely because of that, there was a connection. Mm-hmm. Because the witch got a hold of Lorraine's locket, so therefore it was paired with the other one that the little girl here, daughter, her Judy Daughter Judy. Yeah, her. So daughter Judy's at the fucking house, and then you see the thing spin because the other one's spinning.
Yeah. No, that worked really well. I mean,
it was awesome, and the way they used the light, how it went from light to dark, was fucking tremendous.
Yeah, I'd actually forgotten about that.
It blew me away. And the thing with the doll, when they went, she was scared of that doll to begin with. You remember? She already had this preconceived thing about fucking all those things in that room, and she really feared fucking Annabelle. So she already had it in her head. And of course, it's one of those situations that you see in these movies where the fucking evil knows what you're scared of, so that's what it's going to use to fuck with you. And that totally got me. She tried to get her grandmother, and she couldn't hear. Then she went down the stairs, and it got all dark. Then she went in the room, and the doll was gone. Then she backed up, and you hear boom, 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 boom. The demon was or whatever it was. It sounded really big and scary. And she turns around, and there she is, and the witch is sitting in the fucking rocking chair, brushing the freaking doll's hair.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the doll slowly turns its head, and that was fucking so creepy.
Yeah, that fucking worked really well.
And then how about then they get home just in time, and then the rocking chair itself turns around, and they're no longer there, and it starts moving and coming at her, and they come in just in time. The thing flies, and it would have killed the girl.
Yeah.
It crashes into the wall, and Ed Warren pulls the daughter away just in time.
Yeah, that freaked out the audience I was with, man. They fucking they screamed at that point. Yeah, absolutely. But let's talk about this room full of fucking toys and shit. Like,
right?
Well, okay. This is the first thing I noticed, that the doll, the Annabelle doll, Ed at the beginning, he's being interviewed by a journalist, and he's walking him through and showing him all this stuff, telling him, don't touch anything. It's all cursed objects or stuff that was involved in some way in one of their cases. And he wants to see the Annabelle doll because it's famous, and so he shows him the doll, and it's the only thing that is in a separate case. Everything else is sitting on a shelf. But this doll is sitting in a locked case, and I was like, well, what makes this doll so fucking special? I mean, I know we showed it in the beginning, but how come the fucking monkey's paw over there isn't special, or the fucking the beer stein, or whatever the fuck else they got going on there? But this is
it was intense. Did you remember what happened in the beginning with that Annabelle and knocked on the door?
Absolutely.
That's fucking scary.
But are you saying that every one of those other objects, something intense didn't happen with it? I don't know. That's just something that kind of struck me as weird upon the second viewing. But here's the other funny thing is, let me see if I can find it. I wrote this down. Is that on top of the case of the doll, it said "warning" really big in letters.
You're right.
And then it said, "Positively do not open."
Really?
I don't know why that cracks my shit up. It says "warning."
It is kind of funny.
And then it says, "Positively do not open." Like, I don't know, man. It's like that whole room should have, and it did. They had signs on the outside of the door. It's like, "Don't fucking come in here. You're gonna get cursed." But
they did focus on that doll, but maybe it was for the daughter.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I could see that.
I'm thinking if my daughter was obsessed with that and really scared with it, I might make a bigger deal out of it. Say, okay, honey, I'm going to put this in a case so it can't get out, and I'm going to put a sign to make sure nobody ever lets it out, just to appease her.
Right.
That's the best I got.
Yeah, it makes sense. So, at the end of the movie, they're in the, I was kind of talking about this earlier, but Ed and Lorraine, they're in that room, and they're talking, and she just got off the phone, and she says that the priest has this other case that they want us to investigate tomorrow if we can, and it's in Long Island. Now that is clearly hinting towards like Amityville, right?
What the fuck? How the fuck did I not pick up on that? When you said it, when you just said it and you said Long Island, and it was clearly it snapped in my head. I'm like, and it didn't register either of the two times I saw it. That's fucking really cool.
Okay, well, here's why I bring it up, is that, this movie, it made enough money to warrant a sequel if they wanted to do it. Now, what would that sequel be? would it essentially be the Warrens investigating Amityville? Would it be another case? I see.
You know what? That is a movie in itself. The Warrens' investigation of Amityville, it was a completely different thing than what we see in the Amityville horror.
Right.
What went down with them? So that could be. Holy fuck!
I see. Well, here's my problem though: is I don't know if I want to see another movie. As much as I enjoyed this movie, it's like, would another movie just be the same thing? I mean, I'm kind of, like, I'm thinking that about this Insidious sequel that's going to come up.
I was just going to say that.
It's like, is it just, what else are you going to do that's going to make it different? And with this story more so, because Insidious has got, like, a whole, fucking universe. It's a little different. And this one's more grounded in reality, I guess, with air quotes. And it's like, wouldn't there other cases just be so similar to this that it wouldn't be interesting? I don't know.
That's true. I never thought of it that. Or maybe there's just not going to be a sequel, because obviously if it's based upon true events, that's pretty much the end of it. I mean, they could go a cheap route and freaking say another family moves into that house and do something completely fictional, or that they just write a story for it, which they are, which maybe. Oh,
I fucking hope they don't fucking do that.
I hope they don't.
Oh my god, that would be terrible.
Numbers,
the
numbers they brought in, they're going to be hard pressed.
Oh, they're going to make a sequel on this, absolutely.
One way or the other.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It might not be James Wan doing it, but the studio. It probably owns the rights to this, and they'll probably make it. Because, I mean, look, they made fucking Haunting in Connecticut 2, The Ghosts of Georgia.
The Ghost of Georgia,
That doesn't even make sense. They just tacked the fucking title on. I haven't seen either of those movies, but there's no way that there's any connection between those fucking movies. No way.
No, of course not. But the thing is, the Ghost of Georgia thing, there was a limited fucking release. You know it's a shitball when you see it.
Oh, yeah.
And The Haunting in Connecticut didn't bring in the fucking money this did. And did you know that Ed and Lorraine Warren were involved in The Haunting in Connecticut?
Not until today. And,
okay, there you go. Right, yeah.
Which makes me want to watch it now. I mean,
the funny thing is, Lorraine Warren says what happened in reality is very, very, very different than what you see on the screen. She basically kind of disassociates herself with what the movie that came out.
With Haunting in Connecticut?
Yeah, she's saying basically The Haunting in Connecticut is freaking very fictional. It really wasn't like that. So it kind of gives her a little bit of credibility, because she just says, hey, this, and this is the way this was, and this is how this was, and whatever. And when they were in Amityville, that's a whole other story. They didn't see what, see, you got to look into that shit. But, I like that she said that, but I didn't know that they were involved in The Haunting in Connecticut. I Googled it the other day. I was looking up Lorraine Warren. I wanted to say, I was, curious about the two of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I knew that Ed had passed, and I was curious. And then there was an interview with her, and she was talking about it. And I read this thing about The Haunting in Connecticut and how that was, it was originally featured on, that there's like a show on Biography Channel or something called The Haunting or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then it became the movie. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
But that was a shitball. The Haunting in Connecticut, it made moderate numbers. It was an okay movie. When anytime you see a sequel for a movie like that, you know it's going to be fucking shitty. But this movie, it's a blockbuster. It brought in revenue. It's big. For them to make a sequel to this, I think they would have to go big with it. But how could they? Being that this is supposedly based on true events. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Maybe they will do an alternate Amityville thing and bring them back, and that's fine, because I fucking love Vera Farmiga. Bring her back in and bring.
Oh yeah, I'd peel that banana.
Oh yeah.
Oh god. Yeah.
Yes, I'd peel that banana.
Yeah, Norma Bates.
She's respectful to horror. She's been in the horror genre for a while, and she's great on fucking Bates Motel.
Oh, yeah.
And she was in what do you call it, Orphan, and she
Oh, that's right. I forgot she was in that.
Orphan. And she's a good actress.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anytime you see a good actress that isn't isn't afraid to freaking wave the flag for the genre, fucking A. Cheers to her. She's a good actress. She's attractive. Fucking A.
Speaking of being fans of the genre, I read something today online about somebody giving props to Patrick Wilson, and
oh yeah.
he's a great actor. I think he's great. I first liked him in that movie Hard Candy. Have you seen that?
Yes,
Oh,
I'm a fan of Hard Candy.
Oh, I love that movie. He was great in it. But anyways, somebody was giving him props because in an interview they started talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, and he instantly knew, like, oh yeah, Dream Warriors. That's the one with the Dokken song, and that's kind of an obscure thing for somebody, just a normal casual movie fan to know. So he definitely knows like the genre and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. All right. So let's fucking rate this fucking asshole. Dave, what would you give The Conjuring out of 5 stars?
Well, I'm giving it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it.
So you really liked it. That's good.
Yeah, I really did like it, and I watched it twice. It got better as it went on, and yeah, I was impressed. It did it for me. I don't know if it's Amityville for this generation, because I consider Amityville one and Poltergeist another, and there hasn't really been a fucking nail-at-home ghost haunted house story for me since.
I don't think I've seen Amityville all the way through. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that movie like dreadfully boring?
I've heard people say that, but not to me.
No? I'm gonna have to check it out.
I really appreciate it. I don't know if you will. So I've heard some people really trash it. I've seen it several times, and I'm yet to get bored with it. Well, I really appreciate it.
Well, you recommended that to me, and you also recommended the sequel, Amityville 2.
Yes,
so I want to check those out. Yeah,
you really should. Yeah, check them out. Please do. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I check them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I give it 4 stars. I really did like it. Yeah.
My rating for The Conjuring would be 3.5. I think I liked it. I don't want to say I really liked it, just because I think I'm not a super huge fan of the subgenre. I think that takes it down. I mean, just purely on that. But
I understand that.
The movie is so well done and so well crafted that I have to give it props. It's definitely good. And like to me, I only like a few select haunted house movies, like as of late, Insidious, but also The Innkeepers I felt like was a really good one. But at the same time, I just wouldn't rate those movies as high as I would like, a slasher movie, I guess. I don't know. I think it's just because of the subgenre. I give it a half a point less. Otherwise, if this was, something else, I might give it 4. But I give it 3.5. And on top of that, I definitely say, peel it back. Don't stick it up your crack. You should go see this movie. If you're kind of on the fence about it, peel it back. Go see it. It's worth the money. It deserves the money.
Yep.
It's well acted. It's well scored. It's well written. It's well shot. It's just a good movie. And if you're just looking for some scares, it definitely has that too. So I'm assuming that if you gave it 4 stars, really liked it, you'd probably recommend it as well.
Yeah, peel that sumbitch back.
Peel that sumbitch back and take a bite.
That's right.
Swallow that banana whole. Choke on it.
Deep throat that bitch. That's fine. Get on that shit.
Absolutely.
But let me ask you this.
Yep.
Let me tell you something. The subgenre thing is what makes me rate it high.
Uh-huh.
Because to me, I like the subgenre, but there is only so many movies that strike me at all. So it's so hard for me to watch a movie like this and be impressed by it.
Yeah.
That might make me have the opposite effect, rate it higher, because there isn't that many good ones. And when it's done right, it's done right.
Yeah, you're right.
But I wanted to ask you this. James Wan.
Uh-huh.
We got the 4 big. We got Saw. We got Dead Silence. We got Insidious. We got The Conjuring.
Mm-hmm.
Quickly, could you rate them 1, 2, 3, 4? How would you rate them?
Oh.
I'm curious about your Insidious thing, because you talked an awful lot about it.
Yeah.
And I definitely think this is superior to Insidious. I think the fucking third act in Insidious is nowhere near as good as what goes down in this movie. I'm curious to know your opinion on that, at least.
I think you're right, because, by the time the investigators show up in Insidious, it's kind of like, it kind of falls apart a little bit.
Right.
But if you're putting me on the spot, I would still say I enjoy Insidious more, just because of the. I don't know. I mean, it's not so on the nose, I guess, maybe is what I'm looking for, as this movie is. I like the fucking demon guy in the movie and stuff like that, and the music strikes me more than The Conjuring did. I loved them both, but the music in both. But I would rank Insidious, then I would rank The Conjuring, then Saw, and then Dead Silence. I wouldn't even really put on the list, but yeah, that's
right.
how I would
Okay.
rank it. Yeah.
I was really curious about what you were going to say with Insidious more than anything. I'm surprised that you had Saw so low, but that's another story. It's another show,
what
I
would
guess.
you say with those four?
Oh no, it's easy for me. It's Saw, Conjuring, Insidious, Dead Silence.
See, I like Saw. I'm a fan of the majority of the series, but
I'm talking one movie, Saw 1.
Right, okay.
Saw, that's it.
I've seen that movie.
It's a 5-star movie to me. How's that?
See, I wouldn't say that just because of I've seen it so much that the technical mistakes and stuff like that really just kind of are jarring to me, because I've seen it so much.
I've
Yeah.
seen it too. I guess I'm just blinded because by my love for it, maybe.
Yeah, and so like compared to like The Conjuring, where I see like almost no mistakes or things that take me out of it, where I would be like, well, he fucked that up. It's that's probably the reason why. And
Okay.
that was their first feature length film, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
nobody's perfect by any means, but I still enjoy it. Absolutely. I mean, it's a great introduction to a fucking crazy villain, so.
It fucking blew me. When I saw it at the theater the first night, it blew me the fuck away.
Yeah.
I was floored at the end, floored by the reveal, loved the gore, loved the fucking the tension of it and everything. And when you learned more about Jigsaw, I'll never forget that when he got up in the fucking thing and the whole thing and game over and the freaking guy screaming at the end. I was fucking floored. My jaw hit the floor. It's just one of those moments, you
Yep.
know. I'll
No,
never
yeah.
forget that.
I
And
absolutely
I can't
agree
say
with you.
anything else had that impact on me that Juan's dead. Not that I like his movies, like I said, 5-star, 4-star, 3.5, and fucking 2.5, whatever, just off the top of my head. But nothing's given me the impact that Saw has.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I had the same feeling. It's just that the more I watched it over time, the lesser I feel about it, I guess. I don't know. So,
I understand. Yeah, I hear you.
but yeah, we're getting off topic. That was The Conjuring. So like we said, go fucking see that shit because it's a fun time at the movies and it's summertime. What the fuck are you doing? Go
Yeah.
sit in the theater and cool off and fucking have some fun.
Fucking A. Right on.
Yep. So with that, we are going to get the fuck out of here. And so, Dave, it's been a blast as always.
Hell yeah, brother. You know it.
Yep. Super fun. Hope to do it again real soon, which we will. And yeah. Next episode, we got our birthday blowout
Yeah,
coming
we
out.
do.
Yep.
Fucking A.
Our
Yes.
birthdays are so close together that Dave and I decided to celebrate, have a fucking party, and watch Happy Birthday to Me and Bloody Birthday. So look out for that fucking shit.
Yeah, man. That's going to be fun. Absolutely.
That's right. And so on our way out of here, I got a thought to ponder, and that is, who the fuck is Wilma? See ya, fuckers.
Peace out.